I'm presenting my binder for you. Okay. So my math educator portfolio, my math methods fall 2019. The first page I have is my table of contents. Oops. Everything's backwards. And then my first section is my math standards. In here, what I would like to show, I have my in-task and those, but what I really appreciated with this section were the NBPT standards. And I liked having to differentiate in here between what I'm doing intentionally, what I was doing unintentionally, and then things that were in here that I need to start doing. Standard 1, commitment to mathematics, learning of all students. I think that was my biggest, if I had a theme for this course, that was the one, is to teach all students. Whoops. And then, so I left all of the standards in here because I really liked all of them, even though we needed to only have 3. But another section that I really liked was the assessment section, just to explain the different ways and the value of different assessing methods. Purposefully applying, I had teachers use formal and informal assessments to provide a holistic view of students' mastery or need for further instruction. And then without awareness, I was assess students' clarity of communication, their ability to innovate and apply multiple strategies to problems, and their ability to deal with topics they are learning. One that I needed to plan to incorporate is helping students develop the ability to self-monitor and evaluate personal progress. And that, to me, is where that metacognition comes in, that they are learning that on their own. I have my vignettes in here. And also the propositions. I liked also some of them. Instead of doing those 3 things, it was mining the standards and writing them out on a chart as well. Section 2 was my professional book list. And that one too, yes, that's one we have to read out loud. So the first book that I had was about teaching mathematics, a K through 8 resource book. It's by Marilyn Burns. In this 4th edition of her signature resource, Marilyn presents her current thinking and insights and includes ideas from her most recent teaching experiences. There's 3 parts to this. Starting points, and then problem-solving investigations, and then teaching arithmetic. 4 parts, sorry. And then part 4 was questions teachers ask. And I really liked that one. I liked looking at that part for those questions that we asked, that she had questions that previous teachers had asked, and she answered those, and that helped me. I like this because this book fits with the class's instructional ideas and has very clear, specific suggestions for all areas of K through 8 math, implementation, and lesson suggestions. And the suggestions were easy to read, and this makes it a great reference for any other questions that I may have. And then I put a link on there as well. Another book that I thought I would like is Mathematical Mindsets, Unleashing Students' Potential Through Creative Math, Inspiring Messages, and Innovative Teaching. And this is by Joe Bowler. And it's about banishing math anxiety and gives students of all ages a clear roadmap to success. This is one book that I would like to read because I think helping students alleviate any math anxiety they might have would be helpful. So this one's on a list that I want to read. Mathematical Mindset provides practical strategies and activities to help teachers and parents show all children, even those who are convinced that they are bad at math, that they can enjoy and succeed in math. And I put in here that she is a Stanford researcher, professor of math education, and expert on math learning. And she has studied why students don't like math and often fail math classes. She has found the most effective ways to unleash the math potential in all students. I'm not sure if we're supposed to read all of this. The book says that there's steps that must be taken by schools and parents. And I like that part because it can, part of that family engagement, things we can do to involve the parents in math. So there's things that schools and parents can do to improve math education. And so she explains how the brain processes mathematical learning, reveals how to turn mistakes and struggles into valuable learning experiences, provides examples of rich mathematical activities to replace rote learning, explains ways to give students a positive math mindset, gives examples of how assessment and grading policies need to change to support real understanding. I like those, and that's why this one's on one of my book list. Even if I don't teach math, because right now I'm teaching English, but I think all of these things can be used in any subject we teach. So I think that this book, when I can read it, will help reinforce what I can do as a teacher to encourage students, help them have a more positive mindset in math and in general, and provide suggestions and ideas to help this happen. Learning to Love Math, Teaching Strategies That Change Student Attitudes and Get Results by Judy Willis. The summary is, is there a way to get students to love math? Dr. Judy Willis responds with an emphatic yes in this informative guide to getting better results in math class. Tapping into abundant research on how the brain works, Willis presents a practical approach for how we can improve academic results by demonstrating certain behaviors and teaching students in a way that minimizes negativity. When I read that summary for the book, I liked that because one of the standards was responding positively to teaching math and not even encouraging parents to be positive in math with their students. So all these rest are the ones that I want to read. Because of that, this one, it says it will improve deep-seated negative attitudes towards math, plan lessons with the goal of achievable challenge in mind, reduce mistake anxiety with techniques such as errorless math and estimation, teach 2 different individual learning strengths and skill levels. So again, it had the one with differentiation so that we can reach all students, highs, lows, middles. Spark motivation, relate math to students' personal interest and goals. With anything, if we can relate it back to the student, then I think we'll be more successful in having them understand that. Convince students they can change their intelligence, and I think that is valuable. What do I want to read? The benefits when working with students with varying learning disabilities and sometimes memory issues, this can be a great resource in better understanding learning, how the brain works, and strategies and techniques to help students be successful in learning math. The next one is What's Math Got to Do with It? How teachers and parents can transform mathematics learning and inspire success. So this is a critical read for teachers and parents who want to improve children's mathematical learning. What's Math Got to Do with It is an inspiring resource from Publishers Weekly, featuring all the important advice and suggestions in the original edition of What's Math Got to Do with It. This revised edition is now updated with new research on the brain and mathematics that is revolutionizing scientists' understanding of learning potential. This book is a great resource from what I've read in the online reviews, is that for both parents and teachers who wonder why they have, for children, to help their children who wonder why they have a hard time at math, do not understand it well, or just want to better help their kids by being able to understand how math is taught in Common Core. For me, sometimes as a teacher, in parent-teacher conferences, I often hear how parents try to help their students with math homework but are unable to do so because it looks so different from how they learned. And I think this book would help bridge their understanding with the current thoughts of math instruction. And in recommending it to parents, it can help me as a teacher keep in mind those blocks that everyone feels. And the last one is Visible Learning for Mathematics, grades K through 12, What Works Best to Optimize Student Learning. This is by John Hattie, Douglas Fisher, and Nancy Frey. Rich tasks, collaborative work, number talks, problem-based learning, direct instruction. With so many possible approaches, how do we know which ones work best? In Visible Learning for Mathematics, 6 acclaimed educators assert it is not about which one, it's about when, and show you how to design high-impact instruction so all students demonstrate more than a year's worth of mathematics learning for a year spent in school. That intrigued me because that's our goal, is we want students to be able to grow. There's 3 learning cycles that are in this book. The surface learning phase, which is when students explore new concepts and make connections and learn skills and vocabulary that give shape to developing conceptual understandings. There's the deep learning phase. When through the solving of rich cognitive tasks and rigorous discussion, students make connections among conceptual ideas for mathematical generalizations and apply and practice procedural skills with fluency. And then the transfer phase, when students can independently think through more complex mathematics and can plan investigation and elaborate as they apply what they know to new mathematical situations. I think the benefit of this book, it sounds like that it will cover the best practices in math and carefully goes through the different levels of depth of learning to help students better understand mathematical concepts. And I think another goal of the book is to help students' learning increase more than the norm in a single year. And with students who are already behind, they would benefit from gaining as much learning as possible in class to help bridge their gaps. And just to throw in there another book, because I wasn't sure what types of books, but another book that I saw that I really liked, especially with my English background, was called 1 Minute Mysteries, 65 Short Mysteries You Solve with Math, by Eric Yoder and Natalie Yoder. And this book contains, it's fun math mysteries to solve as a class. And and it has different ways to approach the problems, and where it's reading, I liked that. Section 3 is my lesson plans, and my lesson plans section. I have my open strategy sharing lesson for my tabs, and then my compare and contrast, and then compare and connect. My 5E lesson plan, which I had used in my science method class, and I really liked this format because it goes make sure we cover all the steps of instruction. High yield lesson plan, and mine was the mystery number. And then the 3-phase lesson plan structure, which for me was a little different, but it laid out things in a different way to make sure you covered different things. I think I liked being able to have different options of ways to create lesson plans. And then the last one, the lesson plan template, which is what we used for the last lesson. So I have all those in that one. And I stuck in our bullseye target. And I think I like that with the reflection that I put in there, the reflection paper, because it made me think about the question, which impacts my students by, okay, I like that. I do this because I know goals. Section 4 is the engagement strategies. And like I said in the oral part of the final, I have video notes, but I really liked the brainstorming where students are given different responsibilities, their roles are different, and they're expected to accomplish those. They know what they need to do and how to do it. And then my 4 corners, inside out circle, let's line up, are some of the few. High yield routine section. More video notes. Oh, my first artifact, okay, is my Powtoons. I will have to say that there's my Powtoons. There's a screenshot of it and then my video link. So my artifact was the Powtoons. I have my video link. I created a short, approximately 30-second video to introduce a new task to students, today's number. The video included animations from Powtoon, voiceover with descriptions and directions. I chose it for the easy use once I got to know the website, and the future applications of using similar videos in Powtoon to introduce students to new concepts or tasks. I felt that this artifact supports InTask Standard 8, which is instructional strategies. The teacher understands and uses a variety of instructional strategies to encourage learners to develop deep understanding of content areas and their connections, and to build skills to apply knowledge in meaningful ways. Students benefit from multiple ways to access learning, and a video is another way for students to learn. I learned that an easy and different way to introduce my students to a task or concept or catch their attention can be through the use of a web-based program such as Powtoon. This can also be used by a substitute to help make sure that a task or expectations are understood or conveyed to students correctly. And then I have just all the other today's numbers, mystery numbers, alike and different. The number lines, quick images is another one I really liked. It gives students the chance to see what they can remember. Section 6 is Write for Math. And I love graphic organizers. So for me, especially in English, I think it's important to have them write it. The math journals I love. It keeps it all in one spot, all their mathematical thinking. It's easy how I feel about storyboard notes. Section 7, vertical alignment of standards. Another artifact was my vertical alignment operations and algebraic thinking assignment. I took the 6th grade Common CCSS math standards and identified the standards from the same area for both 5th and 7th grade. This allows me to be able to identify where students are in their learning and, more importantly, what the next step is for them to move to the next level of learning. This artifact supports NBPT Standard 1 commitment to mathematics learning of all students. By understanding where students are in their learning, I can better determine their needs at that moment and also what they need to be able to do to move to the next level of learning. The better that I can meet individual students' needs, the better they will be able to learn and improve in math. I learned that aligning the CCSS math standards as they are used in my district is a valuable tool for me as I teach students who are at varying levels on the spectrum. Many students are behind grade level, and this alignment allows me to be able to see where they came from, what they might be missing, and more importantly, where they need to be going to further their learning. It also allows me to help those students on the other end of the spectrum to see what's next. So I have my vertical alignment. In here I included standards. I included the standards for those, and I included the 5th grade math standards, the 6th grade math standards, and the 7th grade math standards. And I'm going to have to do this video in 2 spots because my children just came to my classroom door.